Good morning, class. It appears everyone is tardy today. Hmm. It's Suzy Smart, ready to teach all the coin information that you might ever want to need. I'm at my desk. I don't see anybody at their desk. I know why. It's that pesky David Lee. He's out there in the parking lot looking for his pencil and singing all about being hot for teacher. Well, that's fine and dandy, Mr. Roth, but you're supposed to be in your seat learning about coins. So y'all better get busy and get in here. Or something like that. Good morning, everybody. It's Suzy. Believe it or not, I feel halfway decent today, as long as I don't have to walk. Good morning, Jack Gallman from Marion, North Carolina. How you doing? I got same old stuff going on. I don't want to bore everybody with the details. We're still working on trying to get me set up to get myself over to Michigan, where they seem to have a whole lot better medical system than they do here in the fine state of Virginia. I got one set of problems kind of under control for the moment, and then a whole new one kicked in. But I can't stop. I have to keep working on stuff. So while we stick around and see if anybody else wants to show up and listen to the news articles this morning. What'd your doctor have to say? I know you were going the other day. Mine says I'm falling apart at the seams, but I already knew that. Wonder how much that bill's going to be just for him to say, hey, you're falling apart, girl. Probably a bunch, because that's usually the way they work that mess. Well, while I'm waiting around to see if anybody shows up this morning, I got this thing here full of nickels, and I'm not sure why. So I'm not sure if they're nickels I was saving or nickels I was going to put in the roll-up bag. So I got to spin them here and see what they are. I don't think they're anything of importance, judging by that being a 91p. Doesn't really look like anything. Total knee replacement. My sister has had both of hers done, Jack. She's chugging along pretty well. She had one that went bad, but it was not the surgeon's fault. Just be very careful when you get it done to research which type of replacement they are going to use, because unfortunately my sister got one of the ones that was recalled, so they had to go in and take it out and change it. But she had both of hers done. It seems to be a thing in my family, and so far I haven't had it done. But my problem, in fact, today is the fact that my knees and ankles don't want to work very good. So I could not rule out the possibility that at some point I may also have to have one done. But yeah, my sister, she goes a lot faster than I do, and she's had both of hers done. Yeah, hers put her out for a long time. At one time, my sister worked as a sous chef for the city of Monterey, California, as did her husband. He was a chef there as well. And of course, you're not going to be chefing in that kind of shape. Yeah, I think these are just roll them ups here. Although I did pull a couple 64s out. I just found I'm rolling up every loose coin that does not look like it has a place, because yeah, I gotta every penny has to go towards trying to get me healthy again. So I did find a couple of interesting articles for this morning. I'm just waiting to see if anybody wants to show up and hear about them. One of them is very old. It's about when we switched over to our different pennies in the early 1900s. And yeah, I just took one back, a box of pennies, and cashing everything in until I get this moving situation done. I mean, I'm not getting rid of my entire collection, but I am planning on having 2 BIN sales, which is buy it now. Actually, I'm having more than 2, but they're different kinds of sales. I will be having one that is coins and metal detecting. I will be having one that is my handcrafted jewelry and decor items. And then I will be having the BIN yard sale. Someone had one last night online, the 2021. I don't remember who I was watching. It was either Ravenhawk or Spray Can, because I think that's about everybody that I tuned into last night. But somebody had one, a 2021. I have not personally touched one yet. And then somebody yesterday told me one of the charities, and I can't remember which one it is, puts a nickel in their mail outs to try to encourage people to donate just a nickel a day. And somebody was telling me they got a 2021 nickel in their charity mail out, which I thought that was pretty cool, because you know that one was pristine. That the charity had just gone and picked up a box, and wonder how many other people got a 2021 and didn't even realize it was something special. Anyway, today's project is to clear all these loose coins off my desk and start getting my photos ready for my my BIN sales. I hope there's something in there that people can need and use, and it will help me. I have so many strange autoimmune disorders that they're kind of starting to mess with each other. And so I need to go have this neurological study done. And since the University of Michigan is the 3rd best hospital in the United States, and my goal has always been to get back to Michigan, the goal on this is I have called 3 of my doctors up there, and they have all said, yes, we would welcome you back with open arms. So the goal is to get a motorhome so I can get back up there and they can start trying to figure out why my nervous system is suddenly cross-firing. One day, one part will work and the next part won't. And the next day, that part will work and something else doesn't go. I've had here in Virginia, so far, 7 doctors have given 9 diagnoses, and they have followed the treatment on each of these 9 diagnoses, and none of them have proven to be correct. A couple they have not followed the treatment on simply because it's very complex and it's not something you would want to put someone through unless you were 100% sure. And one of those was a doctor who thinks that I may have MS. Well, my sister says there's no history of MS in our family, and she is true to that point. However, there also was no history of any of the other stuff I have. So, that being the case, a lot of tests have to happen. Things have to be ruled out. Things have to be, just things have to be done. And here in the mountains, they don't have doctors to do those sort of things. So I am willing to sell pretty much everything I own to stay alive, which is what is starting to happen here. There'll be everything from some of my guitar equipment's going to be sold. Some of my coins are going to be sold. A lot of my jewelry is going to be sold. Whatever it takes to get me to a doctor, a set of doctors who can figure all this mess out, because little Suzy's got a lot of stuff. Oh gosh, that's the worst, Jack. I hate dental work more than anything. I kid you not, I almost died in Detroit at this place called Mercy Hospital, where I went to have some oral surgery work done and ended up in intensive care for almost a week. Yeah, they about did me in. And we are kind of wondering if the nerve damage done by that guy has something to do with the problem that I am having now with the breakdown of the nerves in my face. So I do not envy you any dental work or whatsoever. It has always been my least favorite thing to have done. But yeah, they made my sister do her teeth too. And it's got something to do with preventing infection. But like I said, my sister has had both her knees replaced. I have several family members. My mom had one of hers replaced. Excuse me. I guess nobody's going to come and watch me this morning. I have a bad time because I am up against my friend Ida. But this is the only time that I have to do this show. And it's a completely different format. A lot of people come back and watch it later. I have one person I know, he comes back every day and watches it because he thinks the history is interesting. He just can't watch it while it's on. Hi, James Eller. This is a funny coin. I found this yesterday, and I think somebody was just playing with it and having a good time. It's a zinc penny, and it looks like they just carved the entire edge off. I don't know what has happened to this coin. Good morning, Kathy's Corner. I don't know what has happened to this penny. It is very evenly stripped around the edge with a border. And then you look at the other side. The other side is not that way. So I kept it just because I have no clue what in the world happened to that penny. And that is just a strange penny. So I just thought it was interesting. Uh, it could be just like something like the people who paint the pennies. I mean, paint the 50-cent pieces. You know, they'll paint the edge so that you think you're getting silver and you're not. But I don't know what happened to this penny, except that it's just odd. So I'll keep it with the oddities for now. Oh, yeah, I do have a couple of uh, interesting stories I'm going to do this morning. I was just hoping a few more people would wander in before I started reading them. And we will proceed with those. I'm refreshing at the moment and clearing off the oddities lying on my computer just to clean things up a little bit. I don't know what these pennies up here are. They don't appear to be anything of any particular excitement. Just probably things I picked up off the floor that I've already checked. So far this week I have rolled over $200 worth of pennies. A lot of them were metal detecting finds. Some were the rest of a box that I got from the bank. Oh, great. Now nobody's watching me. I'm really famous now. 1940 something something. It looks like some kind of nasty steel penny. Of a nasty, nasty kind. Looks like I dug this one. I may have. It's definitely what they called a white penny back then. A steel penny. Morning, Woozy. Yeah, this one looks like something that I dug metal detecting. So we'll keep that one for sure. Don't find too many of those when I'm out detecting. So let me find a little bag to put those in before I start the regular show. One of these little boxes will work. Just need to check these nickels and see if they belong in one of my books, and then they can go. But yeah, I have rolled a couple $100. Yeah, it definitely saw better days. That's why I said it looks as if it came out of the ground. So I'm pretty sure this is something that I dug out in the metal detecting fields. Alrighty, well, I got enough people here to read an article. The first article we're going to read is actually fairly recent. It's from 2002. So those of you who were around in 2002 collecting will probably not find this as interesting as those who started after the fact. However, it does show you how the prices and the market change. Good, yep, pocket change. So, like I said, this one comes from 2002. The next article's way older, but I thought this was interesting. simply because it is from 2002, which is in a time period that many of you will recall. But I found the figures fascinating. Let me see if I can make it big enough for little Suzy Smart's eyeballs to focus on. Okay, I think we can get over here on the big screen now. There we go. Okay, this is from the Indiana Gazette from Indiana, Pennsylvania, August 21st, 2002. And our title is Double Eagle Coin Fetches $7.59 million at auction. From the AP in New York. A gold coin that never had a chance to be spent has proved to be worth a lot more than its $20 face value. The 1933 Double Eagle was sold at the Sotheby's auction house for $7.59 million. It is now the most valuable coin in the world, said Henrietta Holzman Ford, director of the U.S. Mint. The coin, which had vanished for decades until undercover Secret Service agents recovered it, was sold by the government to an anonymous bidder. The Mint had estimated the coin's value at $4 million to $6 million. Thousands of double eagles were minted in 1933, but were not circulated because President Franklin Roosevelt took the nation off the gold standard. The 1933 double eagles, featuring a standing liberty on one side and an eagle on the reverse, were ordered to be melted down in 1937. Two were given to the Smithsonian Institution, and several others vanished, stolen in an inside job, according to the Mint. The theft wasn't discovered until 1944, the Mint said. 9 coins were recovered, but one, still considered stolen property, ended up in the collection of Egypt's King Farouk. The coin disappeared in the 1950s and surfaced again in 1996 when British coin dealer Stephen Fenton tried selling it to undercover Secret Service agents in New York. An out-of-court settlement with Fenton last year cleared the way for the auction, the Mint said. The sale price included $6.6 million to be split between Fenton and the U.S. government, and a 15% commission to be shared between Sotheby's and the coin auction house Stax. Ford said the auction proceeds will go into the Treasury. It will be used to pay down the public debt and fund the war on terrorism. The coin thrills the imagination of collectors. It is an enigma, said Stephen Tebow, a real estate developer and coin collector from Boulder, Colorado, who dropped out of the auction when the bidding topped $4 million. It's something very, very special. Gold coins sell for millions. Now remember, we're in 2002 here. Use facts from the story to complete the following statements. And this is kind of like a test at the end of the column. It says the 1933 Double Eagle is A, worth $7.29 million, B, the world's most valuable coin, C, on sale at the U.S. Mint. Do we really need to do the test? It's an open book test. Y'all figure it out for yourself. We're just going to skip all of that part and go to the very end. They do have the answers there, the answer key if you want to take the test. At the time it was minted, the 1933 Double Eagle contained gold equal to its face value of $20. Assuming the coin contained an ounce of gold, what would its actual value be today? Why do you think the coin sold for 7.59 million? So that was pretty good, folks. Good morning, Werner. How are you, sweetie? So that was the first of my articles, and it was only from 2002. And I just threw that in there so that folks could see just from 2002 until today. Now I got this, like I said, while I'm doing this, I'm going through bags of coins. This, I believe, came in my nest from Ravenhawk, and I think it's a bag of Wheaties. So we're going to flip through these for a minute while I rest my voice, and then I will go get another article pulled up, and it's much older, and I think it's a more interesting article that, ooh, there's S keeper. The next article I'm going to read is from the time period where we were switching over to the different pennies back in the early 1900s, and they're talking about how many of the big red pennies were still stashed around in places, and it's a real interesting article. They're talking about this one lady that had a sock full. She said she had 300 of them in a sock. I haven't read the whole article. I like to read the articles as I'm reading them to you, because it's more interesting for me to learn it at the same time. I'm moving all my S's over to a separate side here, but yeah, that's what this is. This is a bag of Wheaties that I got from the Ravenhawk. So thank you, Raven. He knows I like Wheaties. They're the penny of champions. Yeah. So I don't really need to be sorting these right this minute, but they were on my desk, and the next thing that's going to be going on my desk is the beginning of the stuff for my buy it now sales. So I do kind of have to get some of this stuff off my desk so it doesn't accidentally find its way into a sale it's not supposed to be in. There will be a sale in which you will find coinage for certain, but I do not want to accidentally include something that needs to be in my book into the sale. But there will be some Wheaties for sure in the sale. There will be a lot of different things in the sale. I have not done particularly well with getting people to help me get myself over to University of Michigan for this research. So the way it's going to have to work is little Suzy is, that's not a Wheatie, is that little Suzy is just going to have to keep selling everything she owns until she has enough money to get there, because I don't have a whole lot of things that can't be replaced, and my life can't be replaced. So I got to get over there and attend to things that are more important than a pile of pennies on my desk, which is like me being able to stay alive and do more coinage and do more detecting and do more rock and roll. And I'm not ready to quit yet, so just gotta do what I gotta do. And if it means selling everything I own to get there, then that's what it's going to take. I do want to thank Charles and Werner for donating their most recent wins back to the channel. And I want to thank John Jacobs, who sent me a get well card with a few coins in it. That's the first get well card that I have received. It was really cute. It has a little kitty on the front of it. And very, very nice of Mr. Jacobs to take time out to send me a card. It really cheered me up. Yesterday I couldn't walk. I went to get out of my bed. I put my feet on the floor and they just folded underneath me. Today I intentionally woke myself up at 4:45 in the morning and took a double dose of my anti-inflammatory, and so when I woke up this morning and at 7 and put my feet on the floor, my feet actually moved and did what they were supposed to do, and I didn't fall down. So I have to call the doctor a little bit later, and we have to have a little chat about that. And see, this is the problem. One day one part works, the next day a different part works. Some days they both work. Some days neither one of them works. And they have to find out why the nerves in my body are not transmitting the right information to each other. They're just doing crazy. They have tried 9 different diagnoses. No, 7 different diagnoses from 9 different doctors. 2 actually agreed on something. But they came up with nothing. One of them, they could not risk giving me the medication for without way more testing. And that is the doctor who thinks I may have MS. And after having read substantially on what MS does, I can't rule him out, you know. There's a lot of things I cannot rule out. All right. I'm going to stick my crazy 43 back under here for a second and go get a beverage. And then I'm going to come back and read the other article about the pennies, because I'm fascinated to find out what that lady had to say. I'll be back. I'm almost back. I move real slow. Found my card from John Jacobs, who lives in Pennsylvania, and sent me, see if I can do this. Oops, that's not going to work. And I really don't want to be on the camera, but see if I can do this without putting me on there. So there's my card. And a little meow that I got from John Jacobs, and it's so cute. And I thank you so much. Like I said, that's the first Get Well card I have received. So thank you, JJ. And there's a little envelope taped inside, and I have not looked. I know it has coins in it. So we will see what's in here real quick. We have a 1957 Rosie. Nice little silver dime there. And we have, here comes the engine. Here comes. I don't think we can see the date on this boy. I think the buffalo done rubbed the date off of this one. There's a buffalo that roamed through. And looks like another buffalo here. He's pretty rubbed off too. Oh no, this isn't a buffalo. This is a war nickel. This is a 1942 S war nickel. Well, thank you, John Jacobs. That was very kind of you. I appreciate that very much. Very nice of you. All right. So, I got me a beverage. Hi, Charles. All right. Let's go over here to the other article. I made coffee, didn't even drink it. I went over and got a glass of iced tea, so the coffee's still sitting there. Here we go. The last of the red copper pennies. Well, good morning, Ravenhawk. We were just looking at a bunch of Wheaties that had come in my Ravenhawk coins nest. Now we're getting ready to read an article, which is what I do on this early morning show. I'm reading old news articles about money, and detecting. And so this morning we're going to do April 22nd, 1903, the last of the old-fashioned red copper pennies. As soon as I get focused on the big copy so I can read it. Big lot of the old-fashioned red copper pennies. Several weeks ago, we stated in these columns that there was estimated by a U.S. Mint official that there are still in existence somewhere floating around the country, tied up in old stockings or in the hands of curiosity collectors, over 199,900,000 of the old-fashioned red copper cents. Now, bear in mind, this was 1903. Mr. John H. Moore, the museum proprietor at Emmons, happened to see the item and in the letter to us states that he has a collection of them of 300, comprising specimens of the coinage of all or nearly all the years as long as made, from the time coinage was commenced up to 1858, in which year the last were struck. They are of all the different kinds ever coined, and are in good condition, owing to have been long out of circulation. In addition to the above, there are also 100,000 halfpennies, about 120 million of the copper nickel cents, nearly 5 million? My eyes are bad today. 5 million of the present issue of bronze cents, and I can't read these numbers this morning. 25 million of nickel 3-cent pieces unaccounted for, many hidden in cellars and floor cracks, and others held as relics. The total value of these outstanding various coins is put in round numbers at $125 million. The United States did not commence upon the coinage of copper pennies until 1793. It was the red cent, now almost entirely out of circulation, that was first suggested by Robert Morris, the famous financier, to whom the struggling colonies were so much indebted for their independence. But the coin got its name from Thomas Jefferson. Pennies made their first appearance in New England under the Act of Congress in 1787, and the same year Massachusetts authorized coins of like value and issued them. Coins were, however, not set out by the mint at Philadelphia until 1793, when they quickly found their way into all parts. The first pennies bore the head of Washington on one side and 13 links on the other. In 1794, a new die was substituted, the Liberty penny. As already said, the coinage of coppers was first commenced in the United States Mint in 1793, and there were some struck in every successive year, with the exception of 1815, and only a very few in the year 1804. There were, as said, coppers in circulation before 1792. The last of the old-fashioned red coppers were coined in 1857, the little nickels from that time taking their places. There were pennies in existence before that period, but they were what was known as colonial and revolutionary coppers and English cents, the latter struck by the monarchical government that ruled this country prior to 1776. Following close after the Revolution, it was customary for men of wealth in the several states to have pennies struck for the convenience of trade, they being legalized by the several states to such amount as was paid into the state treasury by the individual asking the coinage. I can't read this one. Something from £5 to 10,000, 5,000 pounds to 10,000 pounds. As early as 1776, there were as many as 30 different varieties of pennies in circulation, notably the horsehead cents. So there's your little brief history about pennies. Woozy, unfortunately things are that bad. Since I'm not out on the channels like I was, I guess people do not they don't know what's happening with me. You know, I don't know. Maybe they don't care. You know, but I know the coin community well enough to know that I don't think it's that they don't care. I think it's that they don't know. For those who do not know, something has gone horribly awry in my neurological system. And because I live out in the mountains, finding medical care and even laboratories that can do any sort of serious research to find out what the cause is, they simply don't exist. It's hundreds of miles. I finally got an appointment with a neurologist. We've been trying since September. I finally have an appointment the second week in May, and it is in Roanoke, which is well over 100 miles from where I live. Now, in the interim, what started out they thought was an ear infection, then turned into something way different where it was, then they thought I had Bell's palsy. They thought I had a stroke. The situation in my face is equivalent of being kicked repeatedly in the side of the head by a horse. My eyes don't focus. That's why I'm not on all the time. If my eyes focus, I try to come on and do a show. If they don't focus, I can't do a show. I can't mod. I can't follow a live stream. I can listen, except then my hearing started muffling. So they figured out a temporary cocktail of medication to stop what was going on in my face, but it's not something that I could take on a permanent basis. I can take it for 3 or 4 days, and then they have to take me off of it. It has affected my speech. It has affected my manual dexterity. I will just suddenly start shaking for no reason. And I don't mean like a little tremor. I mean like I'm standing on the earthquake shaking. So right now I am on the cocktail of things that keep it relatively calm down. But yesterday, a new problem arose when I went to get out of bed. I put my feet on the floor and my feet simply just folded underneath me. So, because they really don't have the places here that offer the research studies, and I have multiple autoimmune disorders. I mean, like 7, 8 that they know about. So they just don't have the research facilities available for me here. So the plan is to take me back to Michigan, which is where they first started doing research on me several years ago with all of my strange autoimmune disorders at the University of Michigan, which happens to be the 3rd best hospital in the country. So in order to try and preserve Suzy Q for a while longer, the plan is to get me back to Michigan, where I have a better support system. I have better doctors, and I have doctors who are already familiar with parts of the issue. All right, Jack, thanks for stopping in. Don't work too hard, buddy. Yep, I know that you do, Raven, and that's why when I confused you last night, I thought I need to explain to Raven what's going on because he knows about autoimmune disorders. Imagine having 2 or 3 of them that they don't know what are. And that's where I'm at right now. They have no clue. 9 doctors have given 7 different diagnoses. And they have treated me for 6 of those, none of which resolved anything. The 7th one, they will not treat me for until much more testing has been done. And that is the doctor who thinks that one of these things may have morphed into MS. So the goal of the situation here is to, I'm trying to do my channel mostly to keep my sanity. Yeah, Raven, I need a neurologist. The problem is it has taken my insurance company out here in the mountains from October until yesterday to find me a neurologist. The neurologist is in Roanoke, which is well over 100 miles away. So obviously I'm not going to be able to keep doing that over and over and over again, going 100, 200-mile round trips to the neurologist. And my guess is he's going to want to send me to somebody else that's another 100 miles away. Having these kind of diseases and living out in the mountains don't go together. That's why the effort is to get this motorhome and get me back up to Michigan, where I already have several doctors who are in line. I have a research program willing to take me on, and I have actually a better support system than I do here. I have my sister and my niece. My sister is not really in a position to be driving me back and forth to 3 and 4 doctor's appointments a week. My niece has 4 children, 3 of whom are being homeschooled, and one who has his own special chronic disease. And she drives me when she can, but it's just not feasible to dump my entire health issue off on her. She is taking me to Roanoke to the neurologist. She had to really trick some stuff, but it is not practical. They don't have the doctors here. So we have some different things going to try to get me up there where I actually have more people in Michigan than I do here. So to that end, we are trying to do 2 things. One is, well, basically we're trying to do one thing, and that's get me to Michigan. So we're trying to buy this motorhome. This lady has cut the price in half on this motorhome, actually a third, to try to help me get up there. Where I have people that can drive me around and do such things. Right now, I have driven my car once in a month, which is why we're not having car wash quarters anymore, because I can't go to the car wash. I drove it a half a mile day before yesterday. And that was only because I had nobody to go get my medications for me. But other than that, I'm not safe to drive because I have moments where my vision will go double and triple. And while it may be okay to feel for which one of 3 pills is okay, feeling for which one of 3 cars is okay is a whole different animal. So I have just simply not been able to do much of anything. So we have the GoFundMe for the RV. We also have people sending by PayPal. And I am setting up, I'm basically selling pretty much everything I own by way of 3 buy it now auctions that I will be posting on my other channel within a day or 2. Buy it now 1 is my handcrafted jewelry and decor items, which are under Suzy Q Jewelry and Decor. We'll have links and videos and the whole bit here in a day or 2. Buy it now auction number, or sale number 2. I'm not doing auctions, it's just too hard. I am thousands of miles from a teacher. There are no teaching hospitals here that will take my insurance. Virginia is not a state. Virginia is a commonwealth. And so there's no teaching hospital anywhere close to me that is going to take me. We've already researched that. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going back to Michigan. UM is a teaching hospital, but it happens to also be the 3rd best hospital in the country. It's 10 hours from here. And they're already familiar with my case to a degree. So anyway, so buy it now number 2 is coins and metal detecting items. Buy it now number 3 is kind of a flea market of all sorts of things. I have collectible pottery. I have art supplies. Like I said, the 3rd one is just a hodgepodge, and it's just going to be, there's going to be pictures of the items, the listing of the postage, and the first person that hits buy it now, that's what we're going to do. So in a few days, in fact, I'm going to try to do it today since I'm not walking very good, but I can sit okay. I'm going to try to start getting those 3 buy it now sales up. I also have a 4th one that is probably the most expensive one, and that's my music equipment. As much as I hate to do that, I am going to have to part with some of my music equipment. Probably 2 of my guitars, 1 of my amps, some effects pedals. You know, these are a little bit more pricey items, but it's a choice between, does Suzy want to keep her stuff and then not be around to enjoy it? Or does Suzy want to sell her stuff, most of which can be replaced at any, at some point if I really need to. So, that's what I was trying to talk about last night, Ravenhawk, but I had already taken my meds and I was kind of a little loop-de-doo. And I tried to wait until the end of your deal because I didn't want to, I didn't want to interrupt your show with it. But kind of the only show I've been doing lately is if I just happen to feel good and pop on for a few minutes. I have not been doing the Lodo collecting show because I haven't been able to get out and get the things I need for it. Obviously, I have not been able to go metal detecting, so it kind of killed that. So the only show I've really been doing, and not even on a regular basis, is the last one that I started, which is the one we're watching now. That was the news, where I go on and find old articles about coins and counterfeiting and big heists and the history of coins and currency and the history of metal detecting. And I try to do this in the mornings. And somebody said, well, you're going up against Ida. And I am sorry that I am going up against Ida. I'm not doing that intentionally. I'm doing it because I have a medication regimen that starts around 7 o'clock, where I have to line this big old bunch of pills up and take them. And then after that, I get to have my coffee. Well, it takes all this medicine about an hour and a half to kick in. So while I'm sitting there waiting for it all to kick in, that's when I do That Was the News. Because all I basically have to do is sit here in my chair and wait for everything to start working so I can get up and have as close to a regular day as I can. So that's why the time slot, it's not anything. In fact, I have on many occasions said, okay, I'm done. If Ida's still on, go over there. It's not an Ida thing at all. Ida and I are friends. It's just this is when I am physically able to do it, because then I have this book that pretty much every day has either a telecommunication doctor's appointment or a Suzy has to get dressed and go 100 miles to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist. And I'm not kidding you. It is 87 miles one way for me to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. I just, with the health issues that I have, I cannot maintain that here in this part of Virginia. I am out in the middle of nowhere, Blue Ridge Mountains. There's nothing close. I cannot go because of the insurance that I have. And it's the only insurance available to me, largely because of my problems. People don't want me. I cannot go to North Carolina. If I could, I'd be down at, Duke or somewhere. But they won't take my insurance. That would be the only really close teaching hospital. I'm just not in a good place for that. The other direction would be the same situation, would put me in Nashville over at Vanderbilt. Well, if I'm going to do that, I may as well go back where I started and where they started diagnosing my issues to begin with, back in 2014, where they started trying to connect the dots, and that's the University of Michigan, where I know people who live all around there. I know people in the music industry there. I know people in the medical industry there. I know metal detectorists up there. Turns out, this one is kind of funny. When I lived in Michigan, it turns out that I lived less than 4 miles from Fleabag. A lot of you guys know Fleabag. Fleabag apparently lived right around the corner from me. First time Fleabag won something on my channel and sent the address, I almost fell out of my chair because I saw the name of the road and I said, wait a minute, that's M13, which is a highway number. And he said, yeah. And I said, and he lives in a little bitty town, so I'm not going to name the town, but I was like, my God, I live right around the corner from you. So, I mean, I know people all over that state. I have some family members that live there. It will do me no service to move to an area where I have no backup system, where I have nobody that can drive me, or, I'm already in that situation, except worse. So that's what we're working on. That's right. You never know who is sneaking around you. And I work with a band that is based in Michigan, and I've been doing all the stuff over the computer. It would be nice to be back working with my band again as much as I can. I never know when they're sneaking around me either, but there's a big bunch of them who are also a support system for me, that can make sure I have food, that can make sure I get from, let's say, University of Michigan has several parts of their teaching hospital. The primary is in Ann Arbor, but they also have things that are in Grand Rapids, or as my friends call it, Grand Rapids. And they have some up by Midlands. So I'm going to have people that can make sure I can get to the places I need to get to. And this is the most viable option. So I am going to be setting up these buy it now sales, and I was supposed to be having a big yard sale here, but then my health went really bad, and then some other issues happened in our family. So right now I have a stack of yard sale in the middle of my living room. That's why I said there's going to be one section that's just like art supplies and collectibles. I have a number of pieces of collectible pottery. I have some McCoy and a couple of Rosewoods, just different, stuff that, I like it. It's pretty, but it's not going to save my life unless I sell it, and then it might. So anyway, that's what's happening. I've done my hour, and all the medicines have had a chance to do whatever it is they're going to kick in and do. We did a couple of interesting articles this morning, and I know I saw some people come in that I didn't get to say hi to. That might be funny, pro metal, except that when I tell you that the people who are going to be taking the best care of me up in Michigan are Mexican, all of them. Well, they are Americans of Mexican descent. So I will be being taken care of by Mexicans. You don't know how funny that is. They will see to it that I am taken care of. And there's my Larry. Oh, there's my Larry too. I love my Larry. I am so proud of you, Larry Powell. I watch your stuff every day. And I did send you a message the other day. I don't know if you saw it, that I think at that time I had lost either 9 or 11 pounds. I have lost 14 now. I'm being inspired by Larry's diet, even though we do not have the same problem. We still have the same symptom, and that is too much weight. And my family has a history of diabetes, and I don't want it. Larry is fighting it tooth and nail, and I am watching what he is doing, and it is helping keep me from falling into the trap that my grandmother and my mother and so many of my relatives have. We have a joke, and it's not a funny joke, about the family reunion on my mother's side of the family. Neither my sister nor myself are particularly thin, but when we go to our family reunion, we're the smallest people there. And it's not funny, but it's become a joke with my sister and I that that's the only time we're going to ever look like supermodels. You know, and we wish that we could get our entire family to do what Larry's doing. You know, I'm following it. I gave my niece the link. She is diabetic. And so while I'm not doing the exact diet, I'm following the principle of the diet, which is how much you eat and how often you eat and what you eat, so that those all work together. Larry has done such an awesome job. I am so proud of you, Larry. And I think I speak for a lot of folks. What you're doing is not an easy thing. And you have stuck by it and stuck by it. And we're seeing the change. Every time we see you on screen, we're seeing the change. So you just keep doing what you're doing, buddy, because you got this. And it's like right now, I got to keep doing what I'm doing so I can get my situation in line. And if it takes parting with parts of my collection, parting with musical instruments, parting with jewelry, parting with art supplies, whatever I got to do, I'm going to take the Larry Powell II path, and I'm going to do it. So on that note, it is time for me to get working on these buy it now sales. I want to try to get them posted probably by tomorrow. Hopefully I can get one of them done today. And they're just going to be in a video format. I will make a video posting the link to them with the payment options, the postage options, all the optional options. I want to thank everybody for coming by this morning. And if you missed the news part, we did read 2 news articles. Both were about coins, but about very different eras and very different kinds of coins. One was about the missing golden eagles from 2002, and the other was about the end of the old red copper pennies. Every day I try to put a little bit of edumacation in. And for those who don't understand the Suzy Smart thing, Suzy Smart was a toy that came out in 1959, only was on sale till 1962, offended a lot of men because the idea of the Suzy Smart doll was that women did not necessarily have to stay in the kitchen baking cookies and making babies. The Suzy Smart doll was a talking doll that could read and recite and do math and ABCs, and it was the educated girl's toy, which meant a lot of men didn't like that because they didn't really think little girls needed to know all that stuff. So I wanted this toy more than any toy on the planet. And I had a father who thought girls didn't need to be educated. So I never got my Suzy Smart doll. So I got her now. Yeah, you do stay up real late messing around with Michael Kittle's game, especially when he's got his game thing going. All right, and anyway, folks, if I feel better, and I can get one of the BIN sales done, I'll come back on and post the link and all that stuff. But I do have a doctor's teleconference this afternoon. I usually have 2 of those a week, sometimes 2 to 3 long car trips, which are becoming harder now that I cannot drive. I have to spend a lot of time on the phone arranging transport and all that good garbage. But we will see you soon. I'm not giving up without a fight. None of you. Everybody's got problems. Don't give up without a fight. Thank everybody for being here. I'll catch up with y'all later. I'm sorry if I'm missing your live streams. Most of you know, I used to be there from beginning to end, but I just can't do it right now. But I do try to check in. Sometimes you'll just see me pop in and say, I can't stay, but I came and hit the like, and then usually the drugs have knocked me on my butt and I can't watch anymore. All right, we'll see y'all later. Raven, if you're still here, that's the sound of dots, baby. They haven't got my dots yet. Bye, all.